welcome to my studio. Today we are gonna do a piece in acrylics, but I wanted to do something easy, so I decided to use a stamp. This is a Stapendo stamp that is called Hydrangea Tin R344. And it's a beautiful stamp. And before I start, I want to give you a small lesson in theory, color theory. And I want to tell you that from this stamp I can tell that the light is coming from the right. And you're gonna ask me why? Because you see how big is the shadow on this side? That means that the light is hitting in here. So if the light is hitting in here, we're gonna shade more on this side and a tiny bit only on this side. And then we're gonna make warmer and brighter petals in here and cooler and duller in this section. And this one in the backs, they don't get too much light because they're even behind these. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's get started. So I'm gonna put a link to my floating video because we're gonna be doing a lot of floating, and so that you know how to do it if you have never done it before. And we're gonna start with the, I'm gonna put the hydrangeas. They're gonna have pinks and blues and purple. The base I want to do it turquoise. So I'm gonna start with the shading of the base, and I'm gonna use two colors. Normally when I do shading, I select two colors. Normally, well, I can select 3 colors for shading and 3 colors for highlighting. Sometimes I want that much, but today probably we're gonna do 2 shadings, 2 highlightings, and different colors, different values, different temperature. So these are gonna be the colors for the base. Let me put it in the order. This one, I thought of that one is too green, the soft jade. So there are gonna be spa blue, coastal waters, jungle green, and Bahama blue, and then it's gonna be highlighted with white. We are using a watercolor paper to make sure that we have a paper that is, stronger, that can take the water. So I put my brush in water and I remove the water, and now I'm gonna do the floating. But first, I'm gonna start with, I'm gonna not touch the label yet. So I'm gonna go with spa blue, and I'm gonna put that color, and I'm doing float. And you put the brush the way that is easier for you to handle. So I'm gonna put this color in here. I'm gonna skip that label. Yeah, maybe let me show you closer. I'm gonna skip that label, and I'm gonna go down to the bottom. That's gonna be my first color in here. Now I'm gonna wash my brush. Remove that color. These are the colors that I selected for that label. Burlap, well, oyster beige, burlap, and charcoal gray. I'm gonna start with the oyster beige, and I'm gonna put it on the side of the light. I left this section in here, so I'm gonna put it now before I forget. When you see something, put it right away. So let's put that section in there. And okay, so let's clean. And I'm gonna put now the oyster beige on my palette. Oof, it's a tiny bit liquid, but that's all right. And we're gonna put this on the side of the light. So on the label, this is where we're gonna put it on the label. In there. Okay, so we're gonna go now to the other side and do shadings. So let's see, we are going to start with the color that we were using was Spa Blue. Now we're gonna use Bahama Blue, which is a tiny bit darker. Not as dark, but we're gonna start with the light and then we go to the darkest color, okay? And this one, this color, we're gonna bring it all the way down here. Now, let me tell you something, in case you don't know this. You see that there's a shading in here and there's light area in here. That is a reflective light. Normally it's like a cool blue color. The reflective light is a light that bounces to that area. So we're gonna put that, but with a blue, okay? So let's first finish with the shading. And this color were provided by Deco Art. Very thankful for them to provide me these colors. I'm using a darker color. And now I'm gonna make a float that is larger. And I'm gonna go all the way to the side. See, are we in camera? Yes, we are. Skip that handle. And do not worry about your reflective light. We're gonna put that later. Oops. I put it on the I put it on the label, and I'm just going to try to remove it. Let's go to the color of the dark color of the label right away to put it on top of that, which is the burlap. Sometimes, you know, I make mistakes. That's all right. Then you can correct them. So let's put this color in here, which is the right color, but you know, color bounces everywhere. So it's all right to have some of the color everywhere, because color, you know, you're gonna see color going from one place to the other. There are gonna be tints. Okay, so now we are going to focus on we're gonna leave that to dry. We still need to highlight and shade one more time, but we're gonna leave that to dry, and we're gonna paint the bird. We have this color in here, the burlap. I'm gonna put it on the table since it's already in my palette. And I said that we were gonna do the bird, but you know, let's take advantage of these paints that we already have in here and put some of these paint some of the things that are going to be used with these colors. Let's see. Banana cream on the bird, on the right side, which is the light side. So it's going to be on this side that we're going to put the banana cream. I have yellow ochre. I'm going to put that on the side of the shading side, which is the other side. Oops, we don't want to lose the eye. So what I'm going to do is, let's paint the eye with black. I could not find any black, so I went and put a Sharpie on top of the eye. Bad girl, I forgot the black. Anyway, let's put some color, start putting some color in. I'm going to, this, I want to finish it over there, so I'm just going to go back to that shading color and put it in here, like that. And finish that in there. And that, that was not straight. Oh my goodness gracious. That was not straight, but now it is already drying. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Now that we have that blue color, I'm gonna paint a light color, my handle, just the base coat. I'm gonna put the light color, which was spa blue, and I'm gonna paint my handle with spa blue. This is a tiny liner, and it doesn't hold too much paint, so that's why it's gonna take longer to do. Gonna take that dark blue, it's not in there, so I'm just gonna put it in there. Sometimes I'm too far away and I don't see that I'm leaving lines, but I put my glasses now and I see that I left some spaces, so I'm putting it. So let's finish with the far blue on this. At the same time, I can, while it's wet, put the darker color on the side. So you can do that. The darker color was the spa blue. So the spa blue, you already have a line where to put it, because this stamp will give you lines for the shadings. So in a way, it's a good place to start, you know, your painting journey with a stamp, because it's already showing where the shadings are. And this is the light, which is at the top. Even though this is kind not following the placement of the light, but the thing is the light is coming from the top right, and it's hitting that area. But if I was, it's already have those shading in there, but if I was painting this on my own, I will put some shadings also on this side, which I'm doing now, and in the middle the spa. Not holding too much color, that's why I have to keep putting more. Now the shading, let's shade with jungle green. Let's not make it too small of a float, because we are going to leave a space for the reflective light. So we're gonna shade underneath in here. to not cover completely the previous shading. Okay, I am going to take the Bahama Blue and put a tiny bit on the other side, but smaller again. This shading has to be smaller than the one that we previously put in there, okay? So very tiny, very, very tiny. Now let's go to the label, and we were gonna put charcoal gray as a shading, and it's only on this darker side. So let's take this charcoal gray and add it to that yellow ochre and make a darker ochre version and shade the bird. Maybe, yeah, maybe we have to go to a sienna brown color, traditional burnt sienna. Maybe add a tiny bit of that ochre to this traditional burnt sienna. And we're going to shade underneath in here. Like that. And maybe a tiny bit on the I can see a line that I left in there, so I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of color. So this is for the leaf. The leaves are gonna be lighter on the right side. So let's start with this color, which is Irish Moss. And let's put this color on the right side. These two, because that one is underneath in there. I don't think that one is gonna get too much light. And later on we're gonna make that one more into the blue. But for now, let's put this color. And in this one in here. Hauser medium green. And if any of these colors that I'm telling you are discontinued, you can always check. They always have a chart that will tell you exactly what color you need to mix to get that color on their website. Gonna mix that Hauser medium green with a tiny bit of that leaf green, and maybe highlight this one in here. Maybe a tiny bit of the, I'm taking the oyster beige because it's whatever I have in here, but otherwise I would have taken white probably, but that's okay. Whatever I can find to make it a tiny bit lighter on this side. And then I'm gonna finish applying that Hauser medium green to the shaded side, which is this side. Have the shading. And I think I put everything. Now I'm going to highlight those leaves. Let's see. first, let me just fill this in section in there. Okay, in there. Is that another leaf? I'm not sure if this is a leaf or what. Let's treat it as a leaf, okay? So let's take those two colors, the Hauser medium and what's the other color? Irish moss and Hauser medium green. And we can combine those two colors for this one because it's darker. And let's take the Hauser. There's another dark leaf in here. Let's just put color, and we can change the colors later. There. So now we're gonna find darker green colors and shade again. Let's see what we have in here. No, let's take evergreen. It's a tiny bit darker than the others, and now we can shade. So let's, for example, very dark shading in here. Evergreen. Can you tell that I did a lot in one float? Still have to do some highlight on these leaves, but for now, just do these colors that I'm telling you. See, there's because this next to the vein is darker. That's why you get that in there. So let's let that dry and start doing the hydrangea while this dries, and then we can highlight. We have not highlighted nothing yet, so let's leave the highlight for the end. But anyway, I want to put pink on that tablecloth. So this is Poodle Skirt Pink. Just because we're gonna use these colors in the hydrangea, so I wanna repeat it someplace because I like to repeat colors, and the pinks are gonna be in the hydrangea. I'm gonna leave that because there's like a line, and I'm gonna put next to the line in here and here. Okay, then we can shade with a darker color. To put a tiny bit more in here and in here. Then we can shade later. We go to the hydrangea since we had that color that we put in there. What was the color? The name of the color? Charcoal gray. I'm gonna shade these underneath with the charcoal gray. Okay, let's take a darker pink, and this is Royal Fuchsia. Whatever I find is what I'm using. Doesn't matter. I don't have a photo, I'm just following whatever I want to put in here. And we're going to shade in here. Let's shade this section in here. Underneath in here. Let me talk about the brushes that I'm using. I'm using Black Gold by Dynasty, and gonna use this one, which is Filbert number 2, and I was using for the shading this Black Gold by Dynasty size 18, and this is for an eyeliner 10-0, and these are my favorite brushes. And I'm also very grateful that they provided the brushes for me. And please go visit their website. The brushes are wonderful. I will not be using if they were not this good. So the colors that we're using are Lavender, Feels, Iris, and the darkest one is going to be the Access and Purple. And we're going to use a Filbert brush. This Filbert brush is size number 2. And I also have a Filbert brush size number 4, but I'm going to start with the number 2 because some of these are very tiny. So I'm going to first put the dark color. So in this area, I'm going to start with the medium purple and then put the tip on the light. And I'm just pressing and releasing. So probably I'm going to start with the darkest purple and then the light, and then you press and you release. Don't worry if you get only one color, because later on we can, that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is just base coat with one color, and this is probably the easiest one, doing a float. For example, I'm going to do a float of the medium color. And I think this is easier and faster. So I'm just going to put a medium. So I'm going to do the float is faster, and we want to do something faster. So this is the medium color. And I'm putting some with the medium color. Now I'm gonna go to the pink and put some pink too in this area. We are not shading yet, because the first way that we did it, it was covering too much. I don't want to cover that much. But if you did that already, you can go to the light and try to put some lighten that a tiny bit. Anyway, let's continue with the dark and do some shadings here and there. We're gonna have fun, so we're not gonna even pay attention to details, and we're just gonna put coloring here. Let's put the pink. And if we are leaving this area and going into that area, then we're gonna start putting the blues. So I'm gonna put in my palette also the color Ultra Blue Deep. Now I'm gonna take that purple and add the Ultra Blue Deep and make the purple darker, but combine both of them. and make a darker purple. And there's a leaf in there, I just saw it. So what we're gonna do, let's paint that leaf. With the Irish moss plus the house medium. Let's paint that leaf. And darken that leaf. You see how changing the color temperature helps? Putting this dark color on those darker areas. So let's take the medium purple and some, it's not completely dark in there, so you can put tiny bit of this color. The dark purple, and I'm gonna bring also some of this dark color to some areas in here, but on the dark areas. Okay, so let's work on the ones down there. I'm starting with the medium and the dark colors. They were Vase and purple plus iris, and let's put that in the areas. Oops, those color, that is too bright for there, right? That's where you can tell that that's not the right color for there. So let's go to that dark color, which was that ultra blue deep plus the Vase and purple. And let me remove some of that color because I want to do lightly. Light pink color, and just add that color in there, in that line. But it needs another color. That's not good. Maybe the purple. This is the dark purple, but very lightly. In the middle, let's just put the darkest purple, because anyway it's super dark, that area. This area in here is a super dark purple. And we have to bring it all the way down. The dark pink color. Dark pink color. Let's see. I'm gonna take my Sharpie and finish this in here because it doesn't look okay that way. And let's take the darkest purple, the blue with the dark purple, and put it in there. I added titanium white in my palette, and I'm gonna put titanium white all the way down here. I almost have no space on my palette. So we're gonna put it down here like this. We're gonna turn our brush and do a double like that. I think that's good. Now we are going to highlight also the bird, but I think I'm gonna go to the small filbert or maybe a liner. Let's start. And I'm gonna take the yellow. Let me clean my filbert, it has dark. I'm gonna take the yellow, and the filbert is too dirty. Let me just clean it well and try to pick up clean yellow with white, and then we can highlight this in here. I think I'm gonna go straight to white. Let me wait until that dries. While that is drying, let's take some of the lightest purple with white. And do a lightest version of purple. And then we can hit some of these with this color. Let's do the same with the pink. Pink plus white. And then let's do the same for the green. The green plus white. And start shading these leaves. Let me do a float in there. This is all we're gonna do in here because I don't want to be doing a long video. This was supposed to be something real easy. So let's do a float in here like that and like that. And then we can do one in here. And let's do the same in here. If you put color where the dark color goes, then go back to your dark. Let's see. Gonna go again to that highlight, strong highlight. This time, I think I'm gonna go more white than green. And do a highlight in here. Let's see the same color in here. And in here. Let's highlight again the bird with white. Again, white. Now, I should leave it like this, but if you want, you can also bring the colors of the other objects into, like, you can bring some pink in there or purple. For example, let's bring some purple. Let's take the medium purple. And you can bring some purple in here, because colors reflect. Ooh, but don't put it all the way outside. No. Ah, that was bad. Ah, that was bad. Try to put white in there. But colors reflect, so you can put, for example, the yellow of the bird reflecting in here. You can do that, or even the pink from the pink from here can be also be reflected in here. And let's see, the burnt sienna. I forgot to tell you to put some color in your big, so I'm gonna put the burnt sienna with a tiny bit of pink, make like an orangey color, and put it in that big. And then I don't have black, but if you have black, you can take all the lines that the bird had and put them back, so that you can see those lines. And remember, keep doing your highlight in the bird until you can see it. I forgot to tell you about the reflective light. So the reflective light has to be a blue, but I'm going to use a different blue. So I'm going to use that ultramarine blue with the white. Let's see. That probably works. So I'm going to put a tiny bit in there. I'm going to blend it in there. If you don't see it, I don't see it too well, so I'm going to put more, the same place, but a tiny bit more of the white. Now this reflective light could be blue, or could be, or it can also be, it could be blue, or it can be a purple color. Now we forgot to do the cast shadows, so let's go to the dark pink. Because you have to take the whatever color is in there and make it darker. And let's see, I'm gonna put a tiny bit of the, what's the brown color? The charcoal gray with that pink. Oops. So take charcoal gray with the pink. Make a darker color. Maybe you can put a tiny bit of the purple. Make a shading color. And even, I'm gonna go even to Maybe let's just go to charcoal gray. It's a great color. It's a cast shadow half are super dark, and they're turn brown a tiny bit. That's good. And let's do the same for the bird. We have to do 2 more cast shadow. The bird, which is in here, and they start, oof, that was bad. They start skinny, and then they get larger, but that was too bad. So let's see if we can fix it. I know how can I fix that with the light, pink. Everything is fixable. There's another one down there, so let's take, I don't have space in my palette, that's why I'm bringing colors to places that they're not supposed to be. So these in there, those are the cast shadows that we needed. And I think I'm just going to leave it like this. So when an object is casting a shadow on top of the other one, it's called a cast shadow. And this is a reflective light, so I'm trying to teach you as much as I can. I'm gonna highlight with white the tablecloth since we are here. Didn't do that. So I'm gonna highlight this tablecloth at the front. Now this is me being picky. Okay, one last thing is that also put the colors of the hydrangeas also on the leaves. So this is the purple. So tint also your leaves a tiny bit with the colors of the hydrangea. That's the last thing I promise that we're gonna do. Light. So one more thing that we're gonna do is I'm gonna make the leaves that are gonna add a tiny bit of blue to the leaves that are away from the center of attention to make them more cooler. So this is the blue that we have, the dark blue. I am trying to make these. Let's see, we can take some of the colors of the base also. We can also put some of those, the turquoise colors of the base. This is the bright color, making these ones brighter. And let's see, the blue, dark blue color, the only blue color that we have, we can put that in on these and make them more cooler. So the Irish moss plus white, let's make stronger this highlight in here. And that's really it. I'm gonna keep playing with it because that's the way I am. I cannot stop playing with things that I paint, but I'm gonna leave the video in here. I think I gave you all the information that you need. Thank you for joining me today. Before I go, I want to show you what I will be teaching at my new channel, Scrapbooking with Nilda. I decided to divide the 2 channels and only teaching here painting stuff, and the scrapbooking now is gonna be in the new channels. And this is our first project. It is a one-page wonder, and I don't want to show it you anymore. If you want to see what I do, I'm gonna put the link to the channel in here. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.